downed Chinese balloon aimed for Hawaii was blown off course. So what turns out what the U.S. was able to surmise was that this balloon was headed towards Hawaii. What else happened?
Guam and Hawaii.
Yeah, what happened in Hawaii?
Well, remember last week we spoke about the Chinese LiDAR satellite. LiDAR.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, the LiDAR satellite was scanning Hawaii. And, after some more discussion, we're thinking it's probably looking for submarine activity. Because you can use the LiDAR to actually...
And the balloon would be for other surveillance, right? Surveillance. And so, if you think about it, the Hawaii theater, that area would be very important if there was a Taiwan invasion as well.
Well, Pearl Harbor happened for a reason. The Pearl Harbor attack happened,
we're not going to get into too much military detail.
During World War II, but, it happened for a reason because that's a U.S. stronghold in the region.
Yes.
So for China to have as much intel of what's happening in Hawaii and Guam, because it was also going to go over Guam, right, is very valuable for them in case things kick off with Taiwan or whatever. Just saying.
It makes it worse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway, China's been going absolutely insane.
Yes.
Like you said about the Ohio thing, trying to derail the conversation, so to speak.
Derail the balloon conversation. Yeah.
We can have an interesting little tweet here. This is Wang Wenbin, right?
Yeah. You read his tweet first, and I'll read the rebuttal.
This is a spokesman for China, right?
Yes.
We urge NATO to abandon the outdated Cold War mentality and block confrontation. Stop creating imaginary enemies and destabilizing Europe and the Asia Pacific, and to do something good for peace and stability in Europe and beyond.
Yeah, I just got to say, let me read the rebuttal here, made by Julian Ku. Said, this would be a little less jarring if, the foreign spokesperson from China had at any time publicly urged Russia to abandon its mentality of invading its neighbors and do something good for the peace and stability of Europe.
I mean, the projection is real.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's ridiculous. China's very good at oh yeah, you're a bad guy. Meanwhile, they're being a bad guy at the same time.
Right at that moment.
It's like, oh yeah, you're stealing something while they're stealing something. You know what I mean?
It's insane.
Yeah, and pointing at innocent people. Or even if they're pointing at another criminal, they're doing it themselves.
Yes.
So just an absolute scramble they've been going on these days, just trying to save face and trying to make out as if they've done nothing wrong and everything is the USA's fault and other people's fault, NATO's fault and all this stuff.
Speaking of which, we have a little speech from him.
Oh, you want to go through this?
Gosh, this is hard to watch because of how bad it is.
Okay, well, we're going to watch some of it.
Let's play it.
The whole thing?
It's not that long.
Okay.
国领空完全是一起由不可抗力导致的意外偶发事件。中方已多次向美方说明情况，然而美方滥用武力、过度反应、升级事态，违反国际法精神和国际惯例。现在又炒作渲染，变本加厉，以此为借口。 非法制裁中方企业和机构，中方对此强烈不满，坚决。
Okay, we better give a gist for those who are listening at home. But it's basically saying that, our civilian balloon flew off course and America's making a big deal out of it. And it's just an excuse for them to hype things up and illegally sanction Chinese companies. That's what they wanted to do all along, basically. And we reject this. This is against international law, blah, blah, blah.
It's weird. I'm glad you were able to translate that because I actually only heard the sound of water glugging around.
Yeah, exactly. Water cooler diplomacy. Let's see what else does this guy have to say.
反对，中方将采取必要措施，坚决维护中国企业和机构的合法权益。
This whole thing about China will resolutely, what is it? What are his exact words?
You flew a spy balloon over America and now you're angry.
We'll take necessary measures to resolutely safeguard
坚决维护中国企业和机
the legitimate rights and interests of Chinese enterprises and institutions. You mean the government?
China flew a spy balloon over America, said it didn't happen.
First of all, said no, it's not from China.
Yeah, it's not theirs. Okay, it's ours, but it's a weather balloon. Okay, well, it's a civilian balloon.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've taken care of it. We're going to shoot it down now, and now that it's gone over.
When they shoot it down, that's ours. Give it back. That belongs to us.
And then they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what? And then they go, by the way, now that you found out that it was a spy balloon and you've sanctioned the companies involved in the spying.
Yeah.
don't do that because now we're gonna have to pay back.
Yeah, and they did sanction Raytheon.
Yeah, Raytheon. They sanctioned like
Lockheed
military,
Martin or something.
Yeah, military companies. Oh no! How will they survive?
They don't want to sell shit to you
They don't
anyway.
work with China.
Yeah,
it's the adversary, right? I just want to read this again for everyone. Just so
okay. Well, is this a narcissist
I want
prayer?
everyone to put your hands together.
Okay, go for it.
In a non-religious prayer.
Okay.
This is called the narcissist prayer, and tell me if this is quite literally not a play-by-play of what just happened with China.
Sure.
That didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, well, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That's what these guys are on about. Anyway, I'll get through the rest of this boring ass shit. Now, apparently, China says that U.S. balloons trespassed over 10 times since early January 2022.
I guess I've never learned about prevailing winds. It's interesting.
Yeah, look, I mean, you can look into the science, but the way that the wind, the jet streams and everything work, you're not flying a balloon from America up to China.
No. And if they were talking about, perhaps coming from the base in Afghanistan, well, that was dismantled.
Yes.
And abandoned. Mm-hmm. So I don't know about that. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of bullshit.
It's so it's not even funny.
And the problem is that they make these claims with absolutely no proof. Meanwhile, America's got proof.
There's pictures.
They have the balloon.
They have the balloon. People saw it in their yard.
Yeah.
Nobody in China saw these balloons.
Nope.
There's no photographic evidence. There's not even write-ups about what was found on them, or how they operated, or where they were.
It's just
right.
It's just no you.
No you.
Yeah.
It's quite literally. It's literally projection.
It's like you stink. No, you stink.
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
Projection. I'm gonna give it a couple times.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, again, John Ho-Ching coming along. Now, guys, we're going on about this balloon, but we've got one more point to make.
Yeah. We got a few more.
Yeah. Well, he says, a wandering civilian balloon is enough to make a superpower so paranoid to the point of abusing its military might. What on earth do you, America, usually do with a balloon?
Say what?
Use them at birthday parties? I don't know.
What?
Anyway, now this Fergus Ryan is, out of Australia, is a fantastic guy. Said, China's foreign ministry really doesn't want to name which civilian company owns the spy balloon. And this is a good point.
Yeah.
They keep going on about it being a civilian balloon. First of all, if it was a civilian balloon, why would they be so upset? Why would they be demanding it back?
Well, let me just say something real quick. In my video expose that I did about this very thing, they were working on civil military fusion war balloons.
Yes.
So they've already documented that and bragged about it on Chinese media.
Yeah.
That argument goes out the window immediately.
Yeah, we discussed the whole civil military fusion that China has, a couple of episodes back, and it's absolutely true. All this technology that has any kind of military application immediately falls under the jurisdiction of the military in China anyway. It's not like you can't have a private company. No. That's why, guys, by the way, TikTok, it's a real threat.
Yes.
Okay? Anything that can be used as an influence operation or as a military technology immediately is part of the military in China. Okay, so you see, here's a couple of questions from reporters, like AFP asked. I have another question regarding China's balloon shut down by the US 10 days ago. The foreign ministry said it was for civilian use. Can you tell us which entity it belongs to?
And then here he goes.
Here's Wang Wenbin. Yeah, glug, glug. Says, we've stated repeatedly our position on the unmanned airship's unintended entry into US airspace, but let me share with you some facts. Over the years, the US has been engaging in massive non-discriminate wiretapping and secret theft of blah, 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 blah. Doesn't say the name of the company.
Didn't answer the question.
Didn't answer. Okay, so Reuters asked, and this is a different session. Reuters asks, does last week's balloon belong to a Chinese company? I'm talking about the one that was shut down initially, that then fell all over the sea close to the USA. Wang Wenbin, comes with his water cooler crap again, says, we have made it clear several times that the unintended entry of China's civilian unmanned airship into the US airspace is an entirely unexpected isolated event caused by force majeure. The US downing of the airship is an abuse of the use of force and overreaction. We firmly oppose to it. Again, they can't They cannot say the name of the company because it doesn't
not
exist.
a civilian balloon.
Yes.
It's a spy balloon from the Chinese government.
It belongs to the Chinese government.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And even if they were to name the so-called company that constructed it, it would be a Chinese military company.
Yes.
Or one that's involved in civil military fusion.
Yes.
Of which they all are. So they can't name it. So this whole idea of it being a civil balloon's a bunch of bullshit anyway. We know that.